Hello, welcome to another Reaper Blog live stream. We are doing a DIY recording equipment kit today, and I'm going to turn down the music a little bit. And yeah, so this is a sponsored stream. I reached out to DIY recording equipment when I saw that their new kit was available. I was like, "Do you want to sponsor a stream?" Peterson's like, "I got you." And so yeah, here's the kit. I haven't opened it up yet, but yeah, it seems pretty cool. We're gonna look at the website real quick. This button, no, yeah. So this is what we're building today. It's a $100 kit. It's a 2-channel, basically cloud lifter type thing, where you get, actually don't even know how much gain you get. So depending on the impedance of the preamp following it, you get 10 to, you get 26 dB of boost from this little $100 2-channel thing. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I liked that it looks like a kit you can build in an hour or two. And Error 404, yeah, hang on. The link was bad because I was copying too much stuff. It should be the description of the video should have that. I gotta bring up that live window again. Thank you for telling me. Okay, the link is in the chat. And yeah, so this is a $100 kit, gets you 2 mic boosters, which are helpful. They get you a little clean boost if you've got a cheap preamp that's kind of noisy when you run it full out. And if you've got a mic like the SM7B, and you're doing like a Zoom call or something like that, and you need it to be loud enough without adding digital gain or anything like that, that helps. If you're recording a podcast and you want kind of a loud SM7B mic sound, then that helps. So if you don't have a preamp that can handle like 60 dB of gain cleanly, this is a way to do it for $100. And it has 2 channels, so you can do yourself and your co-host. This could also be useful for many other things. Lav mic kits, things like that. Those are kind of quiet often. You know, when you're just recording, sometimes it's fine to record more quietly and just digitally gain it up. But yeah, this can be the full solution. Get it right at the source, that sort of thing. All right. So besides that, got a couple news things. The Reaper Blog merch store is available now. You can go to reaperblog.net/merch. We've got a few different shirt ideas here, shirt designs, like the Reaper is not free with the Reaper Blog logo on the front, as well as Reaper's not free on the back, plus Reaper Blog logo on the front. We got one of just the Reaper Blog logo in a nice pink and purple magenta gradient. It's available in different colors. I think that's a pretty cool combo. The first shirt ever sold of this design was a pink shirt, so I'm glad I offered that. And then we've got stickers and magnets. So there's the "you wouldn't still evaluating a car" sticker. And this comes in 4 different sizes, up to a 6-inch sticker. Looks good on a notebook or a briefcase. And you can get this with a white border or clear. You can also get it as a magnet. There's a little drop down for styles, and you can get this on a magnet in 3 sizes: 3-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch. Yeah, so this started out as a meme on Twitter. I think this was like a shower thought. And then I just posted it on Twitter and then got like 100 likes. So then I made it into a sticker. And this will probably end up as a shirt design as well. But for now, those are the designs. There's one more thing. There's this zipper bag, which would be good for cables, your field recorders, microphones, that sort of thing. 2 sizes. There's an 8.5 by 6-inch and a 12.5 by 8-inch, 8.5 inch. And yeah, so this is, I think it's a really cool thing. And yeah, so that's the merch shop. Hope that is interesting. And if there's any other designs, products that you'd like to see on there that you're interested in, Threadless is the company I'm going with for the merch. And they've got I don't know, hundreds of items. So yeah, we're going with synthwave colors because that's, you know, that's about half of what I listen to. Now, next little bit of news, the home recording show. I just published a new episode of that, number 309. We're talking about 32-bit recording. There's a lot of audio interfaces and especially field recorders and things like that record natively 32-bit, and how they do it is very interesting. And so I kind of talk about it from the studio side, and Ryan talks about it from the production sound side. You know, applications where he would actually need that when recording on set. And yeah, so please check that out, homerecordingshow.com. Aria, if you're still here, hopefully we're done this stream around 11, and I'll send everyone over to your stream for the interview. We'll miss the first 15 minutes maybe, but yeah, let's dig into this. Here's the camera. Now, in terms of volume and everything, image clarity, you can see this okay, hopefully. I think the camera looks pretty good today. The kit's actually a bit smaller than I expected. Oh, you're rescheduling? Okay. Well, I thought it'd be fun to raid you guys after the stream, but maybe another time. So just, you can't see that. A little bit of instructions on this little kind of business card size thing. So I've actually been friends with Peterson for years, pretty much since he started DIY recording equipment. I think that's where I met him. He was a guest many times on the home recording show. Always good to talk to him and learn about, you know, impedance and stuff like that, because that's one of those topics that you can repeatedly learn that, and there's always more to see, more to know. Am I on the right camera? How's that? I don't know. I did have a button to zoom in my webcam, and it just totally broke today. So hopefully this is clear enough and everything. Oh, thank you so much, Jason, for checking that out, and pretty much checking out everything that I post. That's awesome of you. I'm gonna try to get my. I feel like I should have myself in the corner here, but it's fine. You know I'm talking to you if you hear me talking. So, all right. So we've got some transistors in this bag. Got some capacitors. Let's change the brightness. Resistors. And then XLR jacks. So I'll put some of these aside for now. Yeah, so this whole kit fits, you know, palm of your hand. I thought it would be like a DI box, but it's actually quite a bit smaller. Show you previous kits that I built from DIY recording equipment. My ferrite transformer DI box, which I don't think they have available anymore. But yeah, it's basically a Cinemag transformer, some jacks, and a switch. Like, you know, DI boxes can be that simple. And then I've got the Line 2 amp. Also, I don't think they sell anymore. But yeah, this is just another transformer-based deal. Line input, TRS, and guitar level output to go to an amp with a ground lift. But yeah, the actual circuit diagram is here. So both easy kits and really solid products. So here's the circuit board. I don't know if this ring light actually helps. It seems to just get in the way. But you'll have to tell me if you can see everything. So let's go to the instructions. So we need resistors, transistors, capacitors, jacks and case. Required tools, soldering iron. I'm going to switch mine on. Hopefully I don't burn myself horribly again today, like I did not last build stream, but the one before that. I think I burnt myself pretty good. It took like 2 months to entirely recover. Hey Mike, how's it going? The defaults are all wrong t-shirt. That's a good idea. I'll write that down. All right, so solder. I've got some solder here. (60-40) leaded solder or lead-free. Is that what I have? I don't know. I think it's 60-40. I'm still using solder that I bought like in 2002 maybe. Wire cutters for the excess leads, Phillips head screwdriver. So I've got all this stuff. I've got a multimeter and I've got a desoldering bulb. Got one of these instead of the pump. These work okay. Clippers. I think even the same ones that they recommend. Screwdriver. Multimeter. An old Radio Shack that I bought probably in like 2002, 2003. when I learned circuit bending. All right, so they want me to bend some resistors, first of all. There are a lot of them here. Jason asked, was that the one where you were building the RF noise collector? Yeah, I think like the first thing I did was move my soldering iron closer, and I grabbed like here, stuck my finger right on it, thinking that it was sealed over the top. Not gonna do that again. And I also have a fan over here that I'll turn on when I start soldering. Yeah, I mean, when you start a stream in a great mood and then you immediately injure yourself, not good. But I think I recovered okay. But I've had an injury last week. I cut my finger. Kind of can't really see it, but I cut the tip of my finger slicing cucumbers, and I only eat like certain times a day, and so I was like, 0% blood sugar at that point, and I was about to like pass out. I was making my lunch and I cut myself fairly bad. So then I had this involuntary, like, basically I was about to pass out. I couldn't walk, couldn't stand up, anything like that. I just couldn't move at all. And I'm like embarrassed and annoyed at myself for that. So, hopefully I don't injure myself like that. Brown, black, red, brown is a 10K. Why can't I see that? Brown, black. Okay, well, it's got to be that because all the other ones are drastically different colors. Brown. There's so many lights and glare. I can't even see like the colors accurately. Blue, gray, black, gold, brown. I think that's what that is. Black is the middle one. Black is the middle one in all of them. Okay. Okay, that's blue-gray. Yeah, so it just got like this spike of adrenaline, and then because I had help to like bandage it and stuff, it just like went away right away. So just like, I don't know. I hate being out of control like that. Where like I don't feel like I'm in control of my own body. It's the worst. Brown. Brown? No. Does anyone understand what I mean? Like, maybe you don't like to get drunk because of that, or because you then you're not in control. I'm kind of that way. Resistor stripes, man. Why are they so hard to read? I know this isn't fun to watch, but it's like, I just can't. I cannot see these very well. I should use the multimeter just to figure it out. There's only 4 of them here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I should have a magnifying glass. I don't know where it is. This one definitely has a yellow stripe. I haven't seen one of them. I can look for one. I know my daughter's got one. Here. Well, it'd be hard for me to set this up so that you could see it, I think, but... What is that? What color is that? Can't see. It's basically what I'm dealing with. Are my eyes really that bad these days? I think those are the same. And then what if there's extras? Are there extras? This looks like brown, black, black, red. Does that make sense? Yeah. Some of them have blue stripes on blue. Maybe that one. Okay, so no, I've totally confused these. Like some of these are not the same, or putting them in separate piles and then they end up being in different colors anyways. But the magnifying glass definitely helps. It's another couple minutes of this. Sorry, guys. I wanted to unpack it with you here. And then I always forget about the annoying resistor sorting that you have to do with a kit. That. I can't tell if one of these is different. Yeah, this one's different. Okay, so I've got 2 with yellow stripes that I don't... Okay, those go with those. And then I've got 3 of these, which means I've got something from this pile is not the same. Okay, that's a 10K. And that's a 2 something. 2.7. Okay, these are the same. I should have just used the multimeter first because it's so much more obvious which is which. The stripes look very similar, but then measure a lot different. Can you tell the difference between those? No, not really. Hopefully I didn't just mix those up again. Okay, so now I'm bending all of these so that they fit into the thing. 10K resistors. So if you're new to soldering, bend the legs of the resistors, put them into the slot with the marked thing. See where it says 10K. And then you're going to bend the legs outward until you can solder that in. So I'm just going to use this to kind of get an accurate kind of template for bending these, and hopefully that's not too wide. It's a little bit wide. Yeah, I mean, there's only 16 resistors. The problem is not that I can't see it, because it is, or the problem is that I can't see it, but it does say there is the resistance value thing in here. The issue is just it's blue. Some of them are blue and they're just tiny stripes. So the multimeter was just like to double check, because the two I was confused about were just totally different. One would say 2 something on the meter, and then the other one would say like 9 or 10 on the meter for 2.7 versus 10K. So all right, so they're showing soldering all the resistors at once. I think I'm probably going to just do like all the 10Ks and then go on to the next, rather than putting them all in. Maybe it's less efficient long term to do that. Like if you're making 10 of these a day, that sort of thing. But just for my own sanity, I want to make sure that each step is done right as I go through this. I don't know if I can actually position this so that you could see what I'm doing as I'm soldering, but yeah. That okay there? It is hard to get this in focus for you guys, but I'm trying. Okay, right there looks about right. So very easy to solder those in. Yeah, as long as you have a good iron that heats up quickly, doesn't cool down as soon as it touches metal, and yeah, once you learn the technique, it's very quick. So I'm just clipping the leads now. Okay, so I'm doing the 2.7K next. Right, 2.7. May have done one wrong here. I absolutely did. How did that happen? All right, I guess we're gonna desolder some and triple check it next time. Build a studio clone like 1176 or LA28 sometime. Maybe. Well, I keep messing up these easy builds, so maybe it won't. I don't know. If you do one the wrong way, is there a way to undo? Yeah, we're gonna do that right now. So I mean, it's not ideal because we just cut the leads real short. So I'm using a solder sucker to get most of the solder off, and then we're gonna have to kind of pry it out. It's not really there's not really a super easy way to do that. Just got to get most of the solder off, and then kind of get something underneath. I should actually check if those were both. Every time I flip it around, I get confused about which one it was. Yeah, this one's saying 2.6 now, but I was sure I had that in there correctly. Did I get all of them wrong? What are the 68, 470? Okay, that's definitely 10. I think I sorted them and then got the piles mixed up. Yeah, I put in all the 2.7s in the 10 slots. Ugh, what an idiot. So yeah, it's definitely harder on camera. So I've got a couple tricks for removing things when you make a mistake. You can use the alligator clip to just give a little bit of pressure on it. Come on. So I'm just grabbing the lead side, if you can, and then heating up the solder as you pull on the board. That works pretty well. You have to be careful because those are hot now. So that's my 2.7. And I'm gonna grab this one. Okay, it's 2 of them. Okay, and then you need to make sure that the holes are clear. That's these ones, the 10K there. So I can see that one of them, actually all of them are not clear, completely clear right now. And this is tricky because you don't want to make it, you don't want to burn the holes and destroy the copper. So definitely a mistake you don't want to do, because you can ruin the whole board. Well, you can ruin that spot and essentially the whole board, making an easily avoidable mistake when you're not on camera. And if you can't grip it with the helping hands alligator clip, you can get like a jeweler's screwdriver and kind of slip it underneath and just give it a bit of pressure. I actually don't really have a good one that will work for this, I don't think. I'll just take something like this. I can kind of, if you can fit that underneath a little bit, when it finally comes out, it may go flying though. But the narrower ones, the little skinny ones, which aren't good for very much, but they're kind of good for that. So I spent a lot of time when I was learning to solder taking apart like stereos I could get for free just to get parts and stuff, and I spent a lot of time desoldering. It's a good way to learn. It's a little tricky, but you can try to do it with pliers as well. Just, it's one of those things you need 3 hands to do it right. It's hard to do it like without putting your fingers in the way of the soldering iron too. Sometimes you can heat up the hole and then like smack the board on the table and it'll shoot the stuff through. But these 2.7s might be a little more difficult to insert now. Who else was trying to click on John's desktop to zoom in the pics on the website? Not me. Gonna buy the reamp. Yeah, just you got to keep following the website. Maybe make sure you're on their mailing list, because they definitely sell out of stuff quickly. And they're also constantly improving their kits, making them easier or better parts. It's this one was absolutely my own fault. Goal for 2022 should be to get Let's Talk About Reaper using synths, software, hardware. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be using synths. Synths are wonderful. Should challenge him to make electronic drums from his real drums. Triggering tone generators, envelope followers. Is Mike still here? Hey, Danny. How's it going? How's it going for me? Well, I put in 4 resistors and I realized I put them all in the wrong slots. I had the wrong value for them. So we are redoing those first 4. And now the leads are very short, so it's just a little bit... we're on hard mode right now because trying to correct my mistake. And like, what are the chances I'm going to do it 16 more times? Fairly low, but not 0. I marked this as a sponsored stream because I got the kit for free. Looks like it's sold out already as well, though. So Even if you did want to buy it, you can't. But definitely get on their mailing list. Okay. What's next? 2.7. There. Oh, Danny, did you order a shirt? I actually haven't really looked at who was ordered, but if you ordered a shirt, thank you so much. I am waiting for mine to come in as well, so I can officially launch them, because I've only kind of mentioned it in a couple places so far. All right. Yeah, this is so much more difficult when you've already clipped the leads. Don't do that. All right, so we're right back to where we were before, only with the right resistors in the right slots. So we're going back to the 10K and putting those in there. Still having some trouble getting one of these holes cleared for the resistor. Yeah, it's just not clearing up because this solder sucker sucks. Not in a good way. I think I got it. Yeah, okay. Back in business now. Yes, absolutely. Make sure that okay, Gareth, that was really funny. It distracted me. Jason's right. Make sure you double, triple check the resistor code, and if you're using the multimeter, don't put them back in the wrong piles and all this stuff. Well, it's easy. You just have to pay attention. And I wasn't. I was thinking it was easy. And so, you know, just a little disorganized. The sound of the iron sliding into its holster. I don't know. I can't hear it, but it wasn't a good sound to me, but maybe it's coming through the stream, sounding cooler. So, did anyone use mic boosters like the cloud lifter, the FET head, the Soyuz, this kit? There's so many on the market these days. I actually had a list because we were thinking about doing a show or an episode of the home recording show about them. Because we covered the cloud lifter when that first came out, and I think we had the creator of it on the show. Maybe. Definitely in contact with the company at the time. And Ryan uses them from time to time still. I think he's got the impedance changing one. I've got the FET head, which is a little inline thing, but it's kind of seems a little bit noisy at times. I'm not using one right now. My interface just happens to have that much clean gain because it's made for streaming, and the SM7B is just one of those mics that everyone uses for streaming, so it has to work. I got mine, I think I got it set at 55 dB of gain. Now I'm like afraid to cut them too short. I think they have to be pretty short to fit in the case. Oh well. Okay, next up. What are these? 68 ohms. So, multimeter says 68. I'll check that there's 4 of these. Yep. Okay. Happy with the headphone outs on your Scarlett. Oh, I missed. What was that about? Recently bought the Motu M2 interface and it powers my SM7B fine. Headphone amp is so quiet. The rope back is kind of sheesh. How dare you make me say that out loud? The headphone out on the Scarlett interfaces, I'm not a fan of those. Or at least I had a Gen 1 2i2. And I did like it at first because I was coming from Digidesign and M Audio interfaces. I also had a TC Electronic interface that was overly complicated, overly bulky, and not really that great. But then with the Focusrite 2i2, the line level outputs just sound so weak compared to what I was used to with the M Audio interface. Like, it just, I don't know, it's like lifeless, almost. And I'm pretty sure the spec sheet backs it up, like it's not putting out a real like line level voltage. I don't know, you got to push the speakers or drive the speaker amps harder than you would with other interfaces. The Apogee I owned for a little bit, that one was extremely loud outputs. In kind of a good way, because louder is better. So, so yeah, it was like easier to push the speakers and headphones and stuff, and it just, everything sounded a little bit better through that. And comparing to the Focusrite, I was like, oh wow, that's so weak. But usually, the issue I ran into is if I was direct monitoring my my SM7B or any other mic, I didn't have a way of balancing the level of that compared to the output level of Zoom or Skype or whatever. So having a software monitoring mixer, like direct monitoring, but there's a software mixer, I don't think I want to go back to anything without that. Just so you can give yourself like a 3 dB boost in level that doesn't affect the recording level, and the ability to turn down everyone else by like 6 dB. I don't want to be without that. The audio fuse is pretty good for that, but really occasionally get bugs with it. I was having an issue with the pad button on there. So I plug a mic in, I can't get enough level on it. I hit the pad button just to check, and then it gets louder. And then I press the pad button again, and it goes back to normal. Like, I don't know. Oh, I should also mention the audio fuse has basically a mic boost thing built in, which is pretty cool. One of the big reasons I did buy it, because it could easily do the SM57, I mean 7B, SM7B. You could easily give it like 63 dB of gain, something like that. All right. All right, so here's the progress. We are at most of the resistors in. There's 4 more I need to put in. And then we're on to transistors. The Arturia now, the pad thing seems to have resolved itself. I did like a reset. I was talking to the support about that. There's some like button combo you can use to reset it. Because part of the issue is that it remembers all the settings for standalone use. But then sometimes the UI of the software interface doesn't match what the buttons and the internal memory of it are showing. And frequently I get issues where the sample rate says one thing, but clearly it's something else, and it won't lock to internal clock. It takes several attempts. I've got to like restart it. I have to go into audio MIDI setup and change the sample rate to like 192 and then back to 48. And then they'll all talk to each other properly. But yeah, it happens a little too frequently. I think it's whenever I restart the computer. But so far this week, it's been good. But last week, I had 2 or 3 times that happened. I usually clock externally with the SPDIF jack to my PC's audio output. I have a little USB thing for audio out of the PC, so I can get that through losslessly to my speakers. And if I don't clock to that, then sometimes I get little glitches. It's random, like random and rare, but that's usually when I know that something's shifted in the settings. But if you have a computer that you need to connect to another computer, highly recommend a SPDIF connection. I think it spent $68 or something like that on that interface. All right, so resistors done. Should probably do these a little bit closer. So up next is the BC327 transistor. There are two different types of transistors in this bag, some with silver markings on top and some without. Those without the markings are the BC327s. Place them in a position that have outlined the transistors. Transistors instead of a filled-in shape. Make sure the transistors are aligned so the flat edge matches that of the outline of the board, and solder and trim. T1 and T2, and there are 4 of them. I don't think that those instructions are exactly the same. Some have silver markings on the top and some without. There are only 4 transistors that look like that in the bag. And the other bag has capacitors. So there's 4 of these. And let's see, what does it say? 327. Yep. And the other ones are these with 6 legs. I don't know. It's a little odd that they said silver markings when, yeah, I mean, these 2 devices look totally different, but silver markings, the least distinguishing difference. Is this like a cloud lifter? Yes, this is like a 2-channel cloud lifter for $100. So, on the board, there are these 4 kind of semicircle things here. And that's where those 4 transistors are going, and then the other are in the circles with the 6 holes. That's where those are going. So transistors have to be aligned a certain way, and basically just follow the shape. And they can stick up a little bit from the top. I'm just going to bend the legs in opposite directions and repeat that for all 3 here. All right, so there's actually a little kind of notch on the board for showing where the notch on the transistor goes. So just need to kind of get each of these legs. There's 6 of them that need to be lined up. It's a little difficult. I got it. And here's the instructions. Pretty straightforward, same as the last one. Double check the orientation of these transistors before soldering. These parts are expensive and difficult to remove once they're soldered in. Once you're positive the tab on the transistor on the PCB, line up, solder, and trim the leads. So I will try my best on that. So anyone in chat own a cloud lifter or any of those sorts of things already? Considering one? Don't know anything about them? Let's talk. You have the dynamite. Jason knows nothing about them. Yeah. I've heard the dynamite's pretty good. There's so many on the market. Like it in probably 2010, it was a product that like didn't exist, and now you can buy them on Alibaba and a dozen places or stores on Amazon. All right, what's next? Small capacitors. I'm gonna have to get up and stretch in a couple minutes. I should stretch now, actually. I will be right back. I am back. Yeah, my back was really hurting, so I had to get up for a minute, use the washroom and stuff. All right, we're making progress though. That's good. Okay, so Jason, it's basically a phantom powered preamp. So instead of, powering a preamp by wall power, we get a little boost circuit. In this case, it's done with transistors to do a little level bump. So this one does 26 dB of gain, which is a fair amount. That's one of the higher end levels of gain for these devices. Some are between 10 and 20. Let me see if I can grab my FET head. I've got one around somewhere. This is the FET head from Triton Audio. Basically XLR connector with some transistors inside. Very simple design. And I think it does 15 dB of gain, maybe 18. Yeah, I mean, it's a useful little thing. But this costs, I think, more than this kit by quite a bit. So mics like the SM7B require a lot of gain to bring them up to line level. Depending on the loudness of your source, it's like 55 to 60 dB. Some people, if they have very quiet voices, maybe like 65 dB of gain. So for a quiet kind of casual podcast, you need to run the audio interface preamp at full. So things like this kit or that FET head or the cloud lifter, they basically let you run the preamp at a lower level by giving a boost directly after the mic. And when it's a dynamic mic, it doesn't need phantom power anyways. So yeah, it's a perfect thing to power these little boosters. They're also good for ribbon mics, which have a low output level as well. And they don't need phantom power either. There's an SE mic. It's a dynamic mic that has one of these built in. It has the dynamite built in. So it's a dynamic mic, but you can send it phantom power and it boosts the output level. It's kind of cool. All right, so just to the transistors, did all the resistors. So we are on the next page, populate small capacitors. Place the smaller capacitors in their respective places. These capacitors are not polarized and therefore can be placed in either direction. Solder, then trim the leads. C1 and C2 is a 1N cap times 4. And C3 and C4 are 0.22 U, which is micro. Micro, is that right? Seems that all of these are the same. There's 4 of them. It says there's 4 of them. Pretty straightforward. They're the correct width. And they just slot into the board. And then minor trimmage at the end. So C1 and C2 are these. These are just going to double check that they're all the same. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which way they go in. It's good. So again, very simple. There's not a whole lot to say with a lot of these. Like there's no real trick once you know how to solder. Process is the same for pretty much every device. Heat up the pad and the leads at the same time, drop some solder on, hold for, I don't know, a second, half a second, till it all melts. And then let it cool. All right, so C3 and C4. Just dropping them in and then bending the pins out. These can be nice and close to the board because they got a flat bottom, so perfect. Oh, it's 10:30 already? I guess that's okay. So we've got some capacitors, just two polarized, what do you call these? Electrolytic? Is that what it's called? I forget. Two of these capacitors, which go here. I bet it's the long lead for the square hole. These ones will explode if you do them wrong, so place the capacitor with a positive lead in the pad next to the plus marking. Double check the orientation, solder, and trim. Right, so positive lead is slightly longer. The negative lead is marked with a stripe on the body. Yeah. Simple. Has anyone in chat ever built their own gear or repaired something, audio equipment? I think it's a very good skill to have. I've made my own cables and adapters. I have fixed power supplies, replaced capacitors, changed pickups and guitars. What else? Just being able to troubleshoot, like knowing that it's like a fuse that blew and not like, I don't know, not throwing the whole thing away just for a fuse. I bought a Sawzall from like a thrift store, not a thrift store, like a pawn shop sort of thing that was just tools. And then the cable on it was terrible. It was broken. So I replaced that and, you know, made it stronger and better than original. That's pretty cool. So it's one of those things. It's like, it's so worth learning because there's so many ways to kind of save money with it, building your own things or repairing. Danny, you fix guitars all day, wiring and soldering. Awesome. That's really cool. All right, so that's the capacitors. And I guess it's just the jacks now. Screw panels to the XLRs. Okay, I would have done that wrong. Screw the input and output panels to the XLR jacks with the longer thread cutting screws. Leave the screws loose for now so that the XLRs have a bit of room to move. Okay. Hey, Bo. You said used to, but not much anymore. Last thing I did was got out a cheap LDC and upgraded it. I've got a couple of USB mics. I almost put this in upside down. I've got a couple of USB mics that are really bad on their own. And I got to figure out what to do with them. I think Arya and Leandro were canceling the meeting today, their stream today, but I don't know for sure. Andre asks, hey, do you know of a render mono track action that after exploding a multi-channel track into mono tracks would render them? I would just do it from the routing project render window. Set your bounds to entire project and set the type to selected tracks. Either selected tracks or selected media items. You could also select them all. If they're in separate tracks, like going downward, then the glue action will make new wave files. I don't think my USB mics will be in there. They're like, I don't want to say the brand name, but they sent me one to review. It was pretty bad. Sent me another. It was pretty much just as bad. And yeah, and then they didn't want them back. And I didn't want to, like, I don't know. I didn't buy them on Amazon, so I couldn't return them to Amazon either. Because they bought them through Amazon, mailed them to me. So they're just sitting on a shelf. The bodies seem fine. The mounts and everything seem useful. I hate throwing things away that are potentially useful. And yeah, so I haven't thrown them away. Also, I don't really want to like take them to the pawn shop and then get money for them, because I didn't use my own money on them or anything, and then someone else is going to end up with a mic that's not useful. I don't think they're LDCs. They're USB mics. So a lot of the mods are for like large diaphragm condensers, you know, taking the AT2020 and making it a true LDC, which would be a fun project. Are you talking about microphone parts from Matt McGlynn, recordinghacks.com? I was talking about the Home Recording Show podcast earlier, and Peterson from DIY Recording Equipment was a guest on there several times. And so was Matt McGlynn from Recording Hacks and Mike. Is it microphone-parts or is it mic parts? Microphone-parts.com. I know the people that run this. I used to work for them, actually. When I first moved to Vancouver, I needed some freelance, or, well, really any type of work I could get. And so I was working with his Recording Hacks. Recording Hacks microphone database. So I added a ton of mics to this list. And yeah, it was kind of fun, pretty boring. Eventually stopped doing it. All right, so place the XLR jacks once all the leads, including the plastic mounting tabs, have snapped into place. Tighten the screws on the panel, solder the jacks, but do not trim the leads. So this is what that looks like. not sure like how much of a gap there should be, if any. I want to make it even on both sides, but it's not quite lined up. And I'm supposed to tighten it first. Tighten the screws on the panel, okay. Thanks, Jason. Bo, I should just email Matt, see if he has any ideas for what I could do with it. And if he says just throw them away, then I'll do that. They're really not worth much for me right now. I was actually gonna give them to give one of them to my son because he loves to pretend that he's streaming. And he'll ruin all his hardcover books making laptops out of them. Drawing on the inside cover and stuff. Drawing keyboards and making a stream deck out of Lego and all this stuff. Which is as annoying as it is cute. Because he gets in this weird fantasy thing where if you interrupt him, he'll shout at you because he's streaming, but he's not streaming. ADHD is fun. Okay. The other one came loose. All right, that's a little trickier than I expected here. All right, maybe I'll just do one side at a time. Once I got the one side in, I was trying to get the second side in, and it just levered it off. All right, I'll solder this before moving on. I'm putting a fair amount of solder on these parts because they're larger and they're basically part of the chassis. They hold the chassis together. Okay. Slide PCB into case. Unscrew and remove one of the panels, then slide the assembly into the lower channel in the case. The input panel should be on the side closest to the M in MB2. Hello, Dan. We are just about done this. So if you haven't seen this kit, it's a $100 stereo mic booster, provides 26 dB of gain. I'm not sure of the impedance on this, but maybe you saw that it was 10K. This is a 30 ohm impedance. Which should have lower noise and lower distortion than other brands. 10K input impedance, 30 ohm output impedance. Yeah. All right, so let's unscrew the output side. And so as it said, the input panel should be on the side closest to the M. Nothing's touching the bottom. We're so close to done. This is exciting now. Instructions say reattach the remaining panel to the XORs, then fasten the screws to the case with the shorter screws. All right. need to get a bit. What? Well, it's still not a good one for this. Right, now hopefully I don't strip all these screws just to save some time. Yep, I'm just stripping it. So this whole kit was about 2 hours to build. Less if you don't mess up the resistors at the beginning. And yeah, so probably an hour and a half to build it first try altogether if you don't make a mistake. Overall, pretty simple kit. Good instructions. Resistors, ideally, if they were separated into 4 bags or a piece of tape with the value on it, that would save some headache. And there's 1 extra screw. And a piece of foam for the bottom. And we're done. Okay, so how are we going to test this? All right, so I just need 1 XLR cable. We can test this. Let's turn this off. All right, so a couple things we need to do here. I need to switch off the effects on my voice, switch off the music, and move the XLR cable. So, one sec. This button and this. Okay, and then, oops, don't want to mute it. I want to check the filters. All right, so now the mic is flat. This is the mic as it is normally. And yeah, so I will mute my mic. Let's mute the music from here. Okay, music's muted. So I'm going to turn down the mic and then switch the cables, turn on phantom power, and we'll test this. Check, check, check. Okay, so yeah, so basically I can set this to about 30 dB of gain now, maybe 35. How's that sound? Is that noisy? I can't monitor it. Oh, I know. I will go into the settings here. Advanced audio properties. Check in the headphones. Or actually, it's clean. That's good. I'm not going to monitor it through here. I'll just plug into the interface. Oh, I didn't even realize that that was coming through. Check, 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 check. That seems very clean. Oh. So yeah, we're at 40. No, that's too loud. Check, check, check. So that's, let's see where we're at. So let's bypass this. So it looks like we're now at 38 dB of gain instead of 55. Could probably be at 36. Okay, and then if I switch on the effects, it's going to be even cleaner. And check, check, check. No, I can't hear myself. Check, check, check. Nope. I don't remember why that is. Okay, so yeah, that should be very clean. And well, I guess we'll just test the yeah, I'll turn off phantom power and then just test the second side. First try. Let's go. Yeah, that sounds nice and clean and without the effects on there. Yeah, I think this is working really well. And I mean, I don't have a quick comparison, but you'll have to tell me if it sounds better or worse than before. This interface didn't really need the boost because I was only at 55 out of 62 dB of gain, I think. But yeah, but basically I'm at like, this comes in as if it was a low output condenser mic instead of a super low output dynamic mic. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, anything you guys want to know about this? My review of it, or I don't know. I'll put in links to that product. Again, is that's here. All right, and yeah, just one more thing to put my normal filters on. I think that's how I had it. I don't remember if I had an expander on or not. I think I had an expander, but not a compressor. So yeah, that is, now that seems too loud. It's going into the red. Yeah, so instead of 55 dB of gain for my normal speaking level, now it's at 36 or so, which pretty big difference. And yeah, if you've got a preamp that is kind of noisy and you want something that gets it out of that noisy area of its gain range, something like this can really help, especially with the low output dynamic or a ribbon mic. Now, did Aria go live today? Yes, they did. All right, so we are going to wrap up, and we're going to send everyone over to Leandro's chat, or Leandro's stream, and say hello. I'm going to click on that stream link there, say hello from the Reaper blog, and I'll be watching there as well. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me for the stream today. This has been fun. Minor technical issues at the beginning, obviously. Just try to pay attention when you're building a kit like this. Thanks to DIY recording equipment for sponsoring the stream, providing the MB2 for building on the stream. And yeah, I'll see you guys in Leandro's stream where they're talking to John from Toucan Plugins. All right, let's go. We're done here. Where's that button? Where is my stream end button? Thank you for watching. Huge thanks to my patrons and channel members. And yeah, these people really help keep this going. And I'll see you guys next time.